ॐ अज्ञानतिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागजातं सहगारघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सह ललिता श्रीविशाखावितं कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते सप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावने वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिभिः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So these are our standard prayers we will recite before every class to take blessings of the Guru Parampara and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all others, and then we start for the class. So last time we saw how Bhagavad Gita is also called as Gita Upanishad, and it is the essence of all Vedic literature, Vedic knowledge. And then the question may come that there are so many commentaries in English on Bhagavad Gita. Why one more was needed and why this was written? So Prabhupada says that all of them are not authenticated, yani not authoritative, because they give their own opinions and does not touch upon the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. And the spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is like if you want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. So we cannot take medicine according to our own whim or direction of a friend. It must be taken according to directions of the label or the direction given by a physician. And therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be accepted as it is directed by the speaker, that is Krishna. And he's mentioned every page as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagwan. And this may refer to any powerful demigod, but here Bhagwan refers to Sri Krishna as the great personality. And therefore, we should know that this is also confirmed by great acharyas like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nirbhaka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. And therefore, the Lord Himself also establishes Himself as Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita. And is also accepted as such as in Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Bhagavad Purana, in which Canto 1, Chapter 3, verse number 38, 1, 3, 28 says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. And therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as directed by the personality of God Himself. And then in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is given why this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, what is the history of this. So there, the Lord informs Arjuna that the system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was spoken first to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ikshvaku. And in this way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But what happened in the due course of time? It got lost. And therefore, here, Krishna wants to revive again, and therefore, this time, he is choosing Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And he tells that Arjuna, he is related to the Supreme Secret to Arjuna because he is a devotee and friend. So, who can understand Bhagavad Gita? The prerequisite is he should have faith in Krishna and he should be devotee. He should not be atheist or somebody who doesn't believe in God. Otherwise, he may hear Bhagavad Gita, but he will not get the essence of Bhagavad Gita. It's like a secret secret jewel box or something which has the key but which cannot open without the person having the requisite quality. And then uh, the purport of this Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is specially meant for devotee of the Lord. So this will be relished by someone who is a devotee of the Lord or who wants to become a devotee of the Lord. These are the class of people who will relish Bhagavad Gita very much. And there are three types of transcendence, namely Jnani, Yogi, and the Bhakta, or the impersonalist, the meditator, and the devotee. So these three types will be discussed in further chapters, how they are different. And out of them, Bhakta is the best of all. And then Lord clearly explains Arjuna that he is making his first essay of the new parampara because the old succession was broken. And this is the law of this material world. Whatever things you don't take care of will gradually go down time by time. If your health is not taken care of by properly exercising and all, it will go down. And like this, whatever things are there which are not being taken care of will go down. And this way, this system was broken down. It was the laws which therefore to establish in the parampara in the same line of thought that was coming down from the sun god or to others. And it was his wish that his teaching be distributed anew by Arjuna. So the knowledge which we are getting is very special because sun god is very intelligent among all beings, and we know he has given knowledge to Hanumanji also. He was the teacher of Hanuman. So the knowledge which we are getting in Bhagavad Gita is very, very special, very rare to get, and therefore we should take it in the right spirit and we should not miss it in any way. Otherwise, we'll be a loser. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna, especially because Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord, a direct student of Krishna, and his intimate friend. So these are the qualities of person who can be understood the Bhagavad Gita or who can understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. To this end, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, making his friend Arjuna his student. The subject of Bhagavad Gita entails the comprehension of five basic truths. So these five basic truths are being explained in Bhagavad Gita in very detail. So the first is Ishvara, the supreme controller, that is Krishna, and the Jivas, that are we all, the living entities. Prakriti, the material nature. Time, the duration of existence of the whole universe, or the manifestation of material nature. And karma is also discussed. So out of these five, four are eternal and karma can be destroyed. So we will discuss all this further when the chapters comes. But basically, these five topics have been discussed in length. Vedic knowledge is not a question of research. Our research work is imperfect because we are researching things with imperfect senses. We have to accept perfect knowledge when it comes down as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita by the Parampara. So whatever knowledge is given in this Bhagavad Gita is not a question of research that we will research this and that and we'll find out because we don't have perfect senses and we tend to do so many mistakes. We are illusion and therefore we should accept what is coming down in parampara by perfect knowledge as it is. So we have to receive knowledge from the proper source in disciplic succession, beginning with supreme spiritual master, the Lord himself, and handed down to succession of spiritual masters. So we have to take as it is what it comes from the parampara and understand in that way. Arjuna, the student who took lessons from the Lord Krishna, accepts everything that he says without contradicting him. So Arjuna does not contradict Krishna in any way. So one can ask the question how it is true, but the question why it is true is very not so welcoming in strict sense that but how what we can ask like Arjuna was asking again and again like in this chapter only fourth chapter he asked that you are born after sun god and sun god is born so much before then how can I understand that you have given this knowledge to sun god and then Krishna explains him that how he has given this knowledge to sun god. So this is a proper method of understanding Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand Bhagavad Gita by challenging spirit that we are right and we need to understand my way. So this will not work with Bhagavad Gita. So this is a prerequisite for understanding Bhagavad Gita. And no one is allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad Gita and not another. So we explained in depth last time that some people accept only the Jnana Yoga part 1 to 6 chapters. Karma Yoga part 1 to 6 chapters. Some accept from 13 to 18 the Jnana Yoga part, or some may from 13 to 7 to 12 the Bhakti Yoga part. So when we accept Bhagavad Gita, we should accept all from 1 to 18, everything. We cannot do like one verse, it's liking to me, I will accept, another will not. So that will not do. So we must accept Bhagavad Gita without interpretation, without deletion, and without our own whimsical participation in the matter. So without own or personal interpretation, we should accept without removing anything and without adding anything which is not the part of Bhagavad Gita. So the Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita is the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge means if we read Bhagavad Gita, we'll have the knowledge of all the Vedic literatures. And therefore, this is a summary of all Vedic literature and even more which we are getting when we read Bhagavad Gita. So Vedic knowledge is received from transcendental sources and the first words were spoken by the Lord himself. So whatever Vedic knowledge we receive, it's from transcendental source. That means it doesn't have the four defects which are there now, which is presented now, and it's free from all defects. And the Lord was the first speaker of these words. The words spoken by the Lord are called apaurushaya, meaning that they are different from the words spoken by a person of the mundane world, which is infected with four defects. So whatever we speak in this world has four defects. First is we are sure to commit mistakes. That is, there is no time when we will not commit mistakes. Some or the other mistake will definitely commit, and it's invariable illusion. So we cannot know the truth. Uh, like suppose there is a rope somewhere, and in the dark we'll see a snake. So there is illusion. We cannot know the perfectly what it is. Has a tendency to cheat others. So because we are illusion and we commit mistakes, and therefore we cheat others, telling them, no, I have not made this mistake. No, this is not the way. This is the way. And fourth is we have imperfect senses. So our senses, hearing senses, the seeing and all, whatever we have are imperfect. We cannot hear before and after a certain limit. We cannot see. The vision is limited to a certain limit. And like this, our thinking and all is very, very limited to certain things. So we can never ever know perfectly what it is and how it is. But the Vedic knowledge is given in Bhagavad Gita is perfect and it cannot have these four defects. So Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such a defective living entities. It was imparted into the heart of Brahma, the first created living being. So this Vedic knowledge was not imparted to someone who has these four defects much more better, but it was given to Brahmaji, uh, the first living entity which was we know was born of a lotus flower. And then Brahma in turn disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples and is originally received from the Lord. And then Brahmaji also gave this knowledge to his sons and all as in disciple succession. So this succession of Brahmaji we'll see later in this introduction only at last how it has come down in Parampara. The Lord is Purnam, all perfect, and there is no possibility of his becoming subjected to the laws of material nature. So the Lord is perfect, is Purna, and therefore he cannot be under the modes of material nature. So there are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And we are more or less in one of these modes and acting according to that dictation of the modes. And therefore, Krishna is not under these modes, and therefore his vision is perfect and his knowledge is also perfect, and therefore whatever he is giving to us is also perfect. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe, and that is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. And therefore we should know that he is the proprietor of everything. Whatever we see, we may have something in our care now. Then we written that this belongs to some so and so and so, Mr. This and this or Mrs. This and this. But it's for how much time? Again, after some time, we may not live and the board will change. So the original proprietor is Krishna, and therefore he is the original creator, and he's also created Brahmaji. In the 11th chapter, the Lord is addresses Prapitamaha. That is because Brahma is addresses Pitamaha, the great grandfather, and he's called creator of the grandfather. So he also created Brahmaji, which is discussed in chapter 11th of Bhagavad Gita. We'll discuss further. So no one should claim to be the proprietor of anything. One should accept only things which are set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. So we understand that everything belongs to Lord. So we'll not unnecessarily take things which does not belong to us. We'll take on all our own quota, and in this way we will go to the things. So this means that there is enough for everyone's needs, but that is not enough for anyone's greed. So everyone needs will be satisfied, and the person cannot take birth in this material world if all his needs are not fulfilled. So maybe his food, clothing, and all things will be provided by Krishna when a person is born. But what happens with the greed? People who have possession with the goods, they take it and then they do not give it or distribute to the one who is needed, and therefore there is problem in this material world. Otherwise, everyone is being given his quota for his maintenance, and he also should take his own quota and leave the rest for others. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to this different modes of nature, the activities of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So the mode in which we are, according to the modes, the activities also will change. So somebody will act in the mode of goodness, some in passion and some in ignorance. So the detailed description is given that how there are the three kinds of eatables, eatable goodness, passion, ignorance, and other activities also, how a person speaks, how he takes care, what is the determination, what is a speech in which he talks. So there are different aspects which are discussed in further chapters in different modes. We will see that. All of this is clearly described, and if we properly utilize the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified. So this all is described, and if we utilize properly the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, then our life will be purified, and ultimately we'll be able to reach the destination which is beyond this material sky. So if we do like this, then we will reach this destination which is beyond the material sky, and that is spiritual planets. So this destination is called Sanatana sky, the eternal spiritual sky. So this destination, we also hear in so many movies where see that let's go to a place where there are no miseries, and where there is joyful nature everywhere. So this is Sanatan Golok Vrindavan Dham, and this material world we find everything is temporary, but that spiritual world everything is permanent. Sat, Chit, and Ananda. There is always bliss. It is eternal and is full of knowledge. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, and dwindles and then it vanishes. So this material world, everything which is there, it comes into being, stays for some time, like a person is born, is staying for some time, becomes a child and then grows old, then produces some byproducts, he has his own children, and then dwindles and then vanishes. So he goes to old age and then he dies. So this way everything comes and goes. So this is a law of material world, whether we use as an example this body or a piece of fruit or anything. So anything is material world has an expiry date. Nothing is in this material world is permanent, and therefore we should not be attached to anything of this material world. Otherwise, we'll always feel miserable, we'll always feel unhappy, we'll always feel dissatisfied, because nothing of this world can ever satisfy us, because nothing of this world is permanent. and therefore we should accept this as a fact. But beyond this temporary world is another world of which we have information. That world consists of another nature, which is Sanatana. So this is another world which the information given in Bhagavad Gita, and that detailed information is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, which we will discuss further as we will grow. That world consists of another nature, which is Sanatana, eternal. Jiva is also described as Sanatana, eternal, and the Lord is also described as Sanatana in the 11th chapter. So we also belong to that spiritual world because we have the same nature of the Lord, but the difference is in quantity. So qualitatively we are one. Like a drop of water in an ocean is same as the water in the ocean. But a drop of water is very small, but ocean is very large. So like this, we are one with the Lord in quality, but not in quantity. We have an intimate relationship with the Lord, and because we are all qualitative one, the Sanatan Dharma or sky, the Sanatan Supreme Personality, and the Sanatan living entities, the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatan occupation or Sanatan Dharma, which is eternal occupation of the living entity. So there are two types of dharma. One is eternal dharma, Sanatan Dharma, and one which is related to this body, and both are different. So Sanatana Dharma will remain eternally for everyone the same, but the body dharma will change according to where we are born, which family we are born, and what are our things. So it will change, but the eternal dharma will never ever change. We are temporarily engaged in different activities, but all of these activities can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take up the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. This is called our pure life. So temporarily we may be attached to so many things, we may engage in so many things, but when we are purified, then we take up the activities as described by Supreme Lord. So this will all happen very, very gradually, and it is sure to happen, and gradually we'll move towards the material life and spiritual life. Therefore, Sanatana Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. So it doesn't relate to any sectarian religion, but it is eternal for every person. So it is eternal function of living entities in relationship with the Supreme Lord. Sanatana Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the eternal occupation of the living entity. So this is same for everybody, maybe of whatever dharma is professing. So Sripad Ramanujan has explained the word Sanatana as that which has neither beginning nor end. So this dharma of living entity has no beginning and no end. So when we speak of Sanatana Dharma, we must take it for granted the authority of Sripad Ramanacharya, it has neither beginning nor end. Non-Sanatana religious faith may have some beginning in the annals of human history, but there is no beginning to the history of Sanatana Dharma because it remains eternally with the living entities. So all other things, non-Sanatana religious faith, may have beginning. Like we have so many religions which have beginning in this world. We know it has started from some AD or BC, but Sanatan Dharma is no beginning because it is eternally the same for all living entities. In so far as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative Shastras state that the living entity has neither birth nor death. So all the Shastras say that we have no birth and we have no death. We are eternal. So this will be explained in chapter 2nd of Bhagavad Gita, which is the foundation of the whole Bhagavad Gita. And I propose that if you are there, you should not miss all these chapters. It will transform your life to 180 degrees. So such is the power of Bhagavad Gita, and we should go through all the chapters. He is eternal and indestructible, and he continues to live after the destruction of his temporary material body. So this soul is eternal and it cannot be destroyed. See, the body is separate, can be destroyed, but the soul cannot. And therefore, the Sanatana Dharma refers to Dharma of the soul. And you must try to understand the concept of religion from the Sanskrit root meaning of the word. So Dharma refers to which is constantly existing with a particular object. So anything which is there constantly within an object is called dharma. So I will give some examples. So whenever there is fire, we see heat and light are there with the fire. If there is no heat and there is no light, then there is no meaning of fire. If there is fire, the dharma of fire is to give heat or light, or maybe both. So this we should understand. Similarly, we must discover the essential part of living being, that part which is constant companion. The constant companion is eternal quality, and that eternal quality is eternal religion. When Sanatan Goswami asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the Swarup of every living being, the Lord replied that the Swarup or constant position of the living being is the rendering of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So our dharma is to render service to God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And yet men possess to belong to a particular type of faith with reference to particular time and circumstance, and thus claims to be Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or adherent of any sect. Such designations are not Sanatan Dharma. So all these religions like Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai and all, they does not belong to Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma refers to Dharma of spirit soul. And therefore, Bhagavad Gita does not contain even a single verse which speaks of Hindu, Muslim, Sikh or Isai. It only refers to the eternal principles of the soul. And this should we should be very confirm of, we should be very uh, proud of, and therefore any person from any religion can read Bhagavad Gita and can benefit from it. There is nothing like this religion, this thing cannot read Bhagavad Gita or nothing like this. Everybody can read and everybody will benefit from reading Bhagavad Gita. Such traditions are non-Sanatan Dharma. A Hindu may change his faith to become a Muslim, or a Muslim may change his faith to become a Hindu, or a Christian may change his faith, and so on. So, like this, the body designation may change. A Hindu may become a Muslim, a Muslim may become a Hindu, and so forth. But in all circumstances, the change of religion's faith does not affect the eternal occupation of rendering service to others. So, a person will render service to others, whatever may happen. So in Western countries also, where we see the people don't have many companions or something, they live alone. You will see they are serving dogs. They will take care of dogs. They will roam with the dogs and do so many things. So he will serve somebody. There is never a point where an individual will not serve anybody. He will definitely serve some person or another. And therefore, we should process this type of faith, that is Sanatan Dharma. This is rendering of services, Sanatan Dharma. It is not possible to be happy independently, just as no part of the body can be happy without cooperating with the stomach. So every part of body, suppose the hand is taking food, the eyes are seeing the food, the teeth are chewing the food, and who is enjoying the food? The stomach. Suppose if everybody goes on strike, that the hand say, I will not take the food, the teeth say, I will not chew the food, and the eyes say, I will not see the food. So, what will happen after some time? If all do not cooperate and give food the stomach, afterwards they will be miserable and they will feel weak. And therefore, when the food is supplied to the stomach, the whole body is nourished. Similarly, when we render service to Krishna, our whole existence is being nourished, and we should be very sure of. It is not possible for the living entity to be happy without rendering transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord. So this is a prerequisite that where we should render service to the Lord. The above, the abode of the Lord Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita. So we may question that how does the abode of Krishna look, where we want to go. So it's written, na tadbhasati suryo, na sashanka, na pavaka, yad gatva na nivartante, tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun, or moon, nor fire by or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So there is no need of sun or moon there. See, in this material world, it's all full of darkness. If the sun doesn't arrive, then we are gone. We cannot live there. If the moon doesn't come, we cannot live. It's full of darkness. But spiritual world is not like that. It is self-illuminating. It doesn't require external sun or moon, and therefore there is also no need of fire or electricity. So this word electricity was not there. Prabhupada has put this word according to the modern context. And therefore, this Bhagavad Gita is very relevant to us at the present time, if we see. And therefore, it is not like what we think that it is 5,000 years old. How can it relate to us? So the principles of Bhagavad Gita are eternal and it will help us eternally. There is no doubt in this. Bhagavad does not advise us to go to any of the planets in this material world because even we go to Brahmaloka, the highest planet, through some sort of mechanical contrivance, or maybe traveling for 40,000 years, and who will live that long, we will still find the material incontinence of birth, death, disease, and old age. But one who wants to approach the supreme planet Krishna Loka or any other planets within the spiritual sky will not meet with this material inconveniences. So we should understand this, that wherever we go, like some people advocate that we should do good deeds and go to Swarga. But we should understand, even after going to Swarga, our life span is increased, but still there are problems of birth, death, old age, and disease, and this will continue. So if we go to the highest planet of Brahmaloka, so in this planetary system, the highest planet is Brahmaloka, where the life of Brahmaloka is, we cannot imagine the life of Brahmaloka at this point of time, but still he has to also go through birth, death, disease, and old age. And therefore, we should approach Krishna Loka planet or any planet in the spiritual world where we will not meet with this all birth, disease, old age, and death. So we should go there. So amongst all the planets in the spiritual sky, there is this one supreme planet called Goloka Vrindavan, which is the original planet in the abode of the original personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. So there are so many planets in spiritual sky according to the Lord whom we worship. There is Ayodhya, there is Dwarka, there is Mathura, there is the planet of Vaikunta, there is a planet for Vittal Rukmini also, Pandharpur and all other planets. And the highest of all, as confirmed, is Golok Vrindavan, which is the original planet in which the abode of original personality Godhead, Sri Krishna, stays. So here we ended last time. All of this information is given in the Bhagavad Gita, and we are given thorough its instruction information how to live the material world and being a truly blissful in life in the spiritual sky. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to live in this material world, Live, and then how to live from this material world, Leave. So both these things are being taught by Bhagavad Gita very systematically. And therefore, I will encourage each of you who are listening now to read this, to understand this systematically, and come every session. So, like every day we recharge our mobile phones, every day we recharge ourselves with food. If every week we can recharge with ourselves with spiritual knowledge, we'll grow thousands and thousands of times. And this will also help us practically in all our other things also, all our dealings in material world also. This we should be very sure of. So further we'll read for today. Next, one may raise the question of how one goes about approaching that abode of the Supreme Lord. So information of this is given in the 8th chapter, it is said that. So one may ask how we may reach there. So the information is given of a place, but how will we reach there? Like somebody says that I want to go to US. So we should have information how we can reach US. Do we need passport, visa, what ticket, which aeroplane? So this information should be given. So Bhavita says, अंधकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति सद्मद्भावं याति नास्ति अत्र संशया. And whoever at the end of this life quits his body, remembering me, attains immediately to my nature, and there is no doubt of this. So, Bhagavad 8.5 says, one who thinks of Krishna at the time of death goes to Krishna. So, whatever we remember at the end of our life while we are quitting the body, that destination we go. And therefore, suppose somebody is thinking, I want to sleep a lot. I want to sleep a lot. So Krishna says he wants to sleep a lot. Okay, which is that animal which sleeps a lot? Let me give him that body. Or somebody may at the end of life think that I want to enjoy this or this. So Krishna will think, oh, where can he enjoy this? So he will go to that planet. So like this, at the end of our life, we can think that I want to go to Golok Vrindavan Dham only. Then we will go to Golok Vrindavan Dham. And this will happen. So how the thoughts of at the end will be there? How will come to that stage at the end where we'll have the thoughts? It will depend on how we live this life. So every day, what will we do will gradually build up to a later stage where we will understand what we will remember at the end of our life. The Bhagavad Gita also explains the general principle that makes it possible to enter the spiritual kingdom simply by thinking of the Supreme at the time of death. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajante ante kalevaram tam tameveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavika. Whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits his present body, in his next life, he will attain to the same state without fail. So whatever we state we remember, the next life will be there. See, at the end, what happens is the whole life goes like a picture. So whatever we have done in our whole life, we can see everything from the childhood to end. And wherever the picture stops or wherever there is strong remembrance of that thing, we are stuck to that place or we go to that place. So this is how it works. So at that time, if we remember Krishna, we'll go to Krishna without fail. Just to transfer that thinking power to the spiritual sky, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa has given a great number of Vedic literatures. So all these books, this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and there's so many books are there of so many acharyas are only given to us so that we can remember Krishna at the time of death, or we can remember the spiritual sky. So a lot of information is given about the spiritual sky, how it looks, how the people are there, how the life is there, and how it is different from here. What is life here? So detailed information is given to us for us to decide where we want to go at the end of life. So first he divided the Vedas into four. Then he explained them in the Puranas for less capable people who wrote. He wrote the Mahabharata, and in the Mahabharata there is given the Bhagavad Gita. So there was one Veda in the beginning, and everybody used to remember Veda just by hearing. There was no need of writing. But as soon as the Kali Yuga began, the Yug now where we live now, it's a Yug where the memory goes down drastically, and therefore everything has to be written. And therefore, Vyasdev, what he did, he wrote the Veda, then he divided into four: the Rig Veda, Samved, Ajurveda, Atharved. Like this, he divided four, and then he explained them in Puranas also, and then he gave them to his disciples to further expand them to all. And then he gave also wrote Mahabharata for the persons who cannot understand Vedas very much, because it requires lot of understanding, lot of time and all, which most of people at present do not have. So for them he wrote Mahabharata, and in Mahabharata he has given us Bhagavad Gita. Then all the Vedic literature is summarized in Vedanta Sutra, and for future guidance, he has given natural convention of Vedanta Sutra called Srimad Bhagavatam. So after Bhagavad Gita, he has also written all the Vedanta Sutra, where he has summarized the Vedic Sutra. And for us, he has given a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. And this also we will read in our due course after we complete Bhagavad Gita. It's a wonderful book, Srimad Bhagavatam, and devotees relish reading Bhagavatam like anything. So we'll also go through the process and read Srimad Bhagavatam. We must always engage our minds in reading these Vedic literatures. So we must always engage our minds in reading these literatures. This should be our daily activity apart from a weekly class which we have. Every day we should have some time where we can read these Vedic literatures. Just as materialists engage their mind in reading newspapers, magazines, and so many materialistic literatures, we must transfer our reading to these literatures which are given to us by Vyasdev. So like we read newspapers and so many things, we read magazines and so many things. Like this, we should also read some of these literatures every day. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. So whatever practice we do now, it will help us to remember at the time of death. So if we do not practice remembering Krishna now, It will not be easy to remember Krishna at the time of death. And therefore, some part or some time of our day should be dedicated every day to devotional service also. We should remove some time for that. And in this way, gradually, we will come to a stage where we can remember Krishna all the time. So that is the only way suggested by the Lord, and He guarantees the result. There is no doubt. So the Krishna has given this only way, and He guarantees the result, and there is no doubt in this. In the past, so many have gone through this way back to Godhead, and in the present also, many are trying and many are going, and in the future also, this will be the only way. Modern man has struggled very hard to reach the moon, but he has not tried very hard to elevate himself spiritually. So if we see today's world, we are working very hard to reach moon and do so many things. But we may not try very hard to elevate ourselves spiritually. So whatever hard work we do are on material platform only. The advancement which we are doing in so many machines and so many economic developments we are doing, it's on material level, it's not on spiritual level. If one has 50 years of life ahead of him, he should engage that brief time in cultivating the practice of remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This practice is the devotional process. So if one has time of 50 years or whatever life ahead of him, he should try to cultivate this practice of remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And this practice is called devotional service. So how can we do this? Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. So the nine process of which easiest is Shravanam, hearing the Bhagavad Gita from realized person, will turn one to the thought of the Supreme Being. So it starts with Shravanam, we hear, then Kirtanam, we speak, and further Smaranam, we remember, Paatsevanam is we massage the lotus feet of Krishna, Archanam is worship, Vandanam are offering prayers, Dasyam is serving, Sakyam is making friendship, and Atmanivedam is to say something very confidential to Krishna, what we have in our heart. So, so these all factors start with Shravanam. So first is hearing, and we are doing this hearing from Bhagavad Gita, and this hearing is done from realized person, that is Srila Prabhupada, from which we are reading and hearing. So this aspect is already started, and this will lead us to remembering and do kirtan. That is our daily practices, like we do mantra meditation and all. So this all happens with Shravanam. See, whatever we hear in this material world, our life will be directed to that things. So whatever we have come to this point at this in this life now, all has happened because we have heard that in our life. So if you have not heard about these things, we will not do that things. So therefore, what we hear is very important, and from whom we hear is equally important. We should not hear anything and everything from anybody. Otherwise, we will not be able to grow spiritually and even in our day-to-day life also. So we should be very, very specific from whom we are hearing, and then only we can go at a good speed. This will lead to remember Supreme Lord and enable one upon leaving this body to attain a spiritual body which is fit, just fit for association with the Supreme Lord. So in this way, we'll go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the body which is spiritual. Uh, Lord further says, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasana Gamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Parthan Chintayan. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engages in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Arjuna, is sure to reach me. So whoever meditates on Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his mind is constantly engaging remembering. So he might do so many activities, but where is his mind? His mind is remembering Krishna and is undeviated from the path. So once he takes this path, he does not move an inch from not following. So he will always follow the path, and therefore at the end he is sure to reach. This is not a very difficult process. However, one must learn it from an experienced person. Tat vijnanartham sa gurum evavi gachet. So this is not very difficult. Like cracking into IIT is not very difficult. Doing Hare task is not difficult. What is difficult is getting trained from a person who knows how to do it perfectly. So if you get guidance from person who has done it, it is very easy. And therefore, we all take guidance. Like I took guidance from seniors, and I am guiding you also internally how to grow. And we are all being guided by Srila Prabhupada through the book Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, through guidance, everything is easy. So we should not worry. And in this way, we will go through the process very easily. In conclusion, Bhagavad Gita is transcendental literature which one should read very carefully. So this we should do. We should read very carefully what is in Bhagavad Gita. So now the glories of Bhagavad Gita is given as Gita Mahatmya. So we'll read some of them. Gita Sasam idam punyam yapati prayatapuman. If one properly follows the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all miseries and anxieties in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual. Vishnu Padam Avapnoti Bhaya Shokhadi Varjita. So this is Gita Mahatmya verse number 1. So whoever reads Bhagavad Gita and not just only reads, follows the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, one will be freed from all miseries and anxieties of this material life. So the major miseries we have is birth, death, old age, and disease. Everybody has to go through this. And then we have Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Adhyatmik. These 7 type of miseries everybody will go through. Whether he's a rich person or he's a poor person, whether he's old or young. See, everybody has to take birth, and when the birth is taking, the child is taking birth, he cries because there's a pain involved. Everybody has to die, and we know what pain is involved in dying. We have seen so many people dying, and we see how much pain they go through. Same way, we all know what is disease. In the corona times, we have seen what is disease and all. And same way, nobody in this world wants to become old. There was one of the film actress, when she saw a white hair on the head, she committed suicide. So this is the point where nobody wants to become old, but everyone will definitely become old. And then there are 3 others. It's Adi Daivik, which is caused by nature. Sometimes we feel very cold, very hot. Sometimes the rain are we're coming much more than we need. Sometimes there's a heat wave, there's a cold wave. So this is by the nature. Then some misses are caused by other living entities. Like we sleep, when we sleep, the person next to us is snoring. Then we want to see a certain show in the television. Person wants to see something else. And this, like there is fight. Then sometimes we want to go for outing, but everybody has different opinion. And this way, there are constantly struggles going on between us. And there are so many relation issues. If we see, relation issues are the most difficult to solve, and they are there with everybody. Nowadays, they are the most ones, and this comes with other person. And then this adya, the problems caused by our own mind and body. So our mind goes on thinking different direction. It is on a negative mode. Sometimes the teeth cuts our tongue. So we cannot blame anybody that you have done this, you have done this. We have to just suffer for that. And therefore, these 7 kind of problems everybody goes. So one who reads Bhagavad Gita is freed from all these problems. Apart from being spiritual and going back to God, all these problems are also being solved, and therefore there is an added advantage to read Bhagavad Gita. There is also further advantage. गीताध्यायनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव शान्ति न पापानि पूर्वजन्म कृतानि च. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reaction of his past deeds will not act upon him. The Lord says very loudly in the last portion of Bhagavad Gita. So if one practices Bhagavad Gita very seriously, then what will happen? The reaction of a past deed. So every action has a reaction. Suppose in a train, somebody slaps another person, then what comes back? The slap back will come, or some bad word, something will come. So every action has a reaction. But if we understand seriously Bhagavad Gita and read and understand and then implement our life, then all the reaction of past misdeeds, the reaction of the past life or the past things which we have did will go away, and that will not be there. And therefore, we should read it very loudly. So the Krishna says very loudly in the Rag portion is Sarvadharmam pradityaja mamekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. Thus the Lord takes all responsibility for one who surrenders unto him, and he identifies such a person against all reaction of sins. So Krishna is saying, abandon all varieties of religion. So he is telling that abandon all varieties of religion means the religion of the body, which anyways will change with the change of body. And just surrender to me is to accept the religion of the soul, that is to serve him. So the word surrender should be taken very nicely. Surrender does not mean that somebody comes with a pistol or a gun and says that, oh, now you just surrender. This is not the kind of surrender which Krishna is looking for. Krishna will not ask for surrender. Krishna means asking for surrender is that such surrender in which there is love. We also surrender to somebody out of love. When somebody is loving, caring, we naturally follow what the other person is saying. So this kind of surrender Krishna is asking, and therefore everybody has been given a free will. And another thing is surrender means Krishna is telling, see, I am dancing in Golok Vrindavan Dham, whereas you are suffering in material world. Why don't you come to this Golok Vrindavan Dham and dance with me? Why don't you come and sing with me? Why don't you come and we'll enjoy together? So this is a type of surrender which Krishna is asking, that why don't you give up everything which is material, which is not useful, anyways which will go. See, we have come empty-handed and we'll go empty-handed. So anyways, nothing will come with us. So why don't you come with us in a spiritual world where we can enjoy unlimitedly without any limitation of time, without limitation of energy or any other limitation, we will enjoy unlimited. So please come to this Golok Vrindavan Dham. And this is what it means, surrender. Surrender is nothing like surrender, which we normally speak in this world, that bow you down to me and I am great and you are inferior. Nothing like it. I will all enjoy the same opulence as Krishna. Like suppose a person in a big bungalow hires a person for cooking his food. So the cook also eats the same food which is made for the owner of the bungalow. So he is also enjoying the same things. So like this, whatever is enjoyed by Krishna, all others also enjoy it. So everybody is given the same place, some same dress, they look also the same only, and they enjoy like Krishna. But they do not become Krishna, and they are not like Krishna. So there is a difference in that. So qualitatively we are one, but we should understand quantitatively we are not one. So one may cleanse himself by taking a bath in water, but if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganga water or of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. So we take bath every day and we clean our body. So when we take bath in Bhagavad Gita, so this material life, the dirt of material life will be gone. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. So many people ask so many questions whether we should read this book, and that book. So if one is reading Bhagavad Gita, which is written by A.C. Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada, there is no need of reading other books, which is there here in Mahatma also, because this one book will suffice everything, and everything is there in this book. And how it should be read? Attentively and regularly. So we should read it regularly and with attention. So while reading book, we should be alert of what is being spoken, and we should try to understand to the best of our capacity. One need only attentively regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities It is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. So somebody argues that I want to read other books also. Then the problem is we'll not be able to read other books because there are so many books. And we don't have so much time also, and we don't have that much capacity also to understand the books. And this is also not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literature. So we should be thorough that Bhagavad Gita is essence of all books. So if we read Bhagavad Gita, we'll get the essence of all the literatures, and therefore this Bhagavad Gita is very important for us to read and understand. And especially it was spoken by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So also it is the essence, and the same time, because it was spoken by Krishna himself, it becomes all the more very useful. So one who drinks the water of Ganga attains salvation. So what to speak of one who drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita? So Bhagavad Gita is the essential nectar of the Mahabharata, and it is spoken by Lord Krishna himself, the original Vishnu. So if we drink the water of Ganga, then we attain salvation. So when we drink this nectar of Bhagavad Gita, so which is spoken by Krishna, what we cannot attain. So it is the most important thing which we should hear. Bhavita comes from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Ganga is also to emanate from the lotus feet of the Lord. Of course, there is no difference between the mouth and the feet of the Supreme Lord, but from an impartial study, we can appreciate that Bhagavad Gita is even more important than the water of the Ganga. So Bhagavad Gita comes from the mouth, we know, and Ganga from the toenail of Krishna. It has washed the toenail of Ganga from spiritual world has come. So both has the purifying potency we know. But if we do impartial study now, then Bhagavad Gita is much more important and it's much more purifying than water. And nowadays we have the opportunity to hear Bhagavad Gita daily, but we don't have opportunity to take bath in Bhagavad Gita in Ganga daily. Because Ganga water is not available, but Bhagavad Gita is available. And it has so much effect that this Bhagavad Gita was taken by Srila Prabhupada to the Western world in the age of 1965 and all. And that time it brought a spiritual revolution in the lives of so many people. And therefore, if we want to even revolutionize our own spiritual life, then I think Bhagavad Gita is must thing we should read. And therefore, I encourage all of you to please read this daily and come for the weekly class and also revise. If there are some doubts or questions, anybody can put on the WhatsApp group what questions may arise while reading. At the same time, if we get more time, we can have more classes also. See, Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, essence of all Ved Upanishad is just like a cow, and Lord Krishna, who is famous as a coward boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf, and learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarine milk of Bhagavad Gita. This is an analogy given by in Bhagavad Gita for how you should. So Gita is essence of all Upanishad. It's just like a cow. So Gita is considered as a cow, and Lord Krishna is a coward boy who is milking the cow. Then Arjuna is a calf because the cow doesn't milk. The cow will not give milk if there is no calf, and therefore the calf is required so that the cow may give milk. But the cow has much more milk than what the calf can drink. And therefore, when the Arjuna is drinking the milk, so all the other milk is also left for all the pure devotees and others, learned scholars and all, to drink this milk of Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, we are very fortunate enough that we have this Bhagavad Gita with us, and we are getting this opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita. The opportunity itself to read and understand Bhagavad Gita is very, very rare. In this world, there are more than 700 crores of people. Not many even know Bhagavad Gita. Not many, if know, have the opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita. And if they know, they have heard also, the opportunity to understand Bhagavad Gita is very rare. And if one can understand Bhagavad Gita, to implement Bhagavad Gita is still rare. And this all opportunity we are getting, and therefore we should be very grateful of this opportunity for us to read Bhagavad Gita, to understand Bhagavad Gita, and we should take every opportunity which we have in our life to discuss and read this Bhagavad Gita. So last he says, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam Eko Deva Devaki Putra Eva एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्मापि एकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा. So this Gita Mahatmya Shlok 7. In the present day, people are very much eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion, and one occupation. Therefore, Eka Shastram, Devaki Putra Gitam, let there be one scripture only, one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. So, if anyone wants only one scripture, they don't want anything more, then let Bhagavad Gita be the only scripture. Let there be one scripture only, one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. Eka Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Let there be only one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna. So let there be only one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna. Eko mantra tasya namani. And one hymn, one mantra, one prayer, the chanting of his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let there be one mantra, and karma be ekam tasya devasya seva. And let there be only work on work only the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like this, one scripture, one Lord, one mantra, and one service. So let there be all these three. So this is way how there is a summary of the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. The whole introduction is much large. I have just summarized the whole introduction for our benefit. And this is a distinct succession which I talked before, how it comes. So Krishna has given this knowledge to Brahmaji. Brahma is given to knowledge to Naradji. Narad is given knowledge to Vyasaji. Vyasa is given knowledge to Madhvacharya, Madhva, and then Madhva is given knowledge to Padmanabha, and Padmanabha is given knowledge to Narahari. Nara is given knowledge to Madhava, and Madhava is given knowledge to Akshobhya, and Akshobhya is given knowledge to Jayatitha. Jayatitha is given knowledge to Dhyana Sindhu, and Dhyana Sindhu is given knowledge to Dayanidhi, and Dayanidhi has given knowledge to Vidyanidhi, and Vidyanidhi has given knowledge to Rajendra, and then he has done given knowledge to Jayadharma, then Pushottama, and then Brahmanya Tirtha, then Vyasa Tirtha, then he has given to Lakshmipati, then Madhvendra Puri, then Ishwar Puri, and Nityananda Advaita, and then from that is not your Lord Chaitanya, then Rup Sanatan Goswami, Swarup and all, then Jiva and Rup Raghunath Das Goswami, then they are given in turn to Krishnadas Goswami, then in turn to Narottam Das Goswami, then Vishwanath Thakur, then Baldev or Jagannath Ji, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj, then Bhakti Sansar Thakur, and then it has come to Srila Prabhupada, whose book we are reading. So in this way, it has come to the whole success. This knowledge has come to this is the succession, and therefore this has become very important for us, and is very authentic and very relishable, and we can know the book by its results, and we have seen that by reading this Bhagavad Gita, so many people have become devotees of Lord. So many people have left all their bad habits and they are contributing to the nation in a much better way. There are so many other versions available of Bhagavad Gita, but none have contributed so much what have this Bhagavad Gita contributed, and therefore we are reading this Bhagavad Gita and we'll be discussing further on all these things. So I will pause for some time. If anybody has any question, doubts, or anything, then we can take now. And if anybody has no questions or doubts, then we can start chapter number 1 because we have around 25 minutes left. So let's have something from your side. And if any, all of you can even open your cameras also, we can talk or have discussions on this introduction part and then move forward. Please. Yes, any doubts, questions, queries, or any comments anybody has?